Now, though, as the cost of living bites, more people are reaching out to support services for housing, food relief, mental health support as well. New data suggests for the month of May, in fact, that number of people seeking help has skyrocketed. And an online directory which connects people to not-for-profits, Ask Izzy, which has actually been around since the mid-1990s, says May had the highest number of monthly searches on record. David Spriggs is the CEO of Infoxchange, that's a tech company responsible for Ask Izzy, and David joins us now. Morning, David.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. So just can you put some numbers to this? How many people were seeking help in May?
Yeah, it's incredibly sad. So as you say, it was kind of the highest that we've seen on record, almost 250,000 people searching for help in the month of May. So 245,000 searches for help that we saw. And almost a third of those were people just searching for emergency food relief.
Can you put that in perspective? What numbers would you usually see in a given month? I'm just trying to get my head around the spike.
Yeah, so it's massive. So that's up about 40% from what we saw 12 months ago. And 12 months ago, we were already seeing pretty high numbers from what we would have seen traditionally coming out of COVID and with the start of the cost of living crisis. But really with the cost of living crisis now in full swing, every month we're seeing higher and higher numbers.
Yeah, and what are people mostly searching for?
Yeah, so the biggest things people are searching for is emergency relief. So people looking for food services in their local area. That might be somewhere where they can go and get a free meal, or it might be where they can go and get food packages to take home. So food is the biggest. The second is people looking for support around housing. And third, traditionally for us, has been people searching for financial assistance. But really concerningly, in the last few months, mental health has taken over as the number 3 search. So people looking for mental health support.
Yeah, I've seen that more than 316,000 searches for mental health and wellbeing assistance over the past 12 months. And just to put that in perspective, a 33% increase compared to the preceding year, 33% just when it comes to mental health. So really quite extraordinary. And this is part of a broader trend over the past 12 months, as you say, where more people are asking for help. Quite obvious that times are very hard for so many people right now. But can some of that be put down to people just finding out about the service for the first time, David?
Well, it's certainly what we're seeing is that certainly there's a much bigger range of people asking for support than ever before. So when we launched Ask Izzy, it was really designed for people who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. And certainly during the pandemic and now with the cost of living crisis, we're just seeing a much larger group of people who have never had to ask for help before. And that's really one of our key messages now, is that there's no shame in reaching out and asking for help. And certainly for people struggling with things like housing, reaching out and asking for help early is certainly the right thing to do. So yeah, as you say, people who have never had to ask for support before are now contacting us.
They're coming forward.
Connect with these services.
Yeah, and they certainly are in record numbers, as you're telling us. The pressure then, of course, flows through to the actual non-for-profits on the ground, doesn't it? I mean, do you know how that's going? Are they having to turn people away?
Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing that, and certainly our partners in the food relief space, so organisations like Food Bank and Oz Harvest are reporting the same sorts of numbers that we are, and they're finding it extremely difficult. And of course, the not-for-profit sector is a very caring sector, so the last thing they want to do is turn people away, and they always try and support people in need. But certainly the sector itself is in crisis at the moment, suffering its own shortages around workforce, suffering from funding support and all of those sorts of issues. So it really is a sector in crisis. Relying
on so many volunteers for assistance as well. David, look, tough times for so many people, no question. Thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
David Spriggs, CEO of Infoxchange. It's the tech company responsible for Ask Izzy. It's been around since the 1990s, this directory which connects people to non-for-profits. But as David has told us, May seeing the highest number of monthly searches on record. This, of course, comes a day after that temporary reprieve from the Reserve Bank, interest rates on hold. But as we've been hearing time and time again this morning, far from an end to the saga with the cost of living crisis continuing to bite.